Hey everybody, Nick Kangatis with MRCTV, and we are here with the first Vice President of the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, Michael Mette. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, and so we just got done covering the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protest march at Union Park, and I gotta say, the whole week, it's Wednesday right now, and the whole week from Monday, it seems like the Chicago Police Department has been on the ball every step of the way, organized and really prepared ahead of time. What was your guys' plan going into it?
Well, I don't know. The overall goal was obviously to have more of us in the situations that than the protesters when they needed to be. Starting with Monday, when they broke down the fence, they were met with a decent amount of officers. They were able to secure the barrier and without much ruckus. And then back here that night, there was a nice show of force where we had several hundred officers march toward the park at the end to disperse. And thank God they did, peacefully. As you know, last night it got a little crazy off of Madison and Clinton. But again, I think our officers did an amazing job. When they needed to put hands on people and scrape them back and make arrests, they did so, and with limited amount of force, just necessary to make the arrest. And I think it goes to show just how professional this department really can be when it needs to be. And just a good shout out to the Superintendent Larry Snelling for being on the grounds with those guys at the time that they were making those arrests. So it was actually a very nice job that they did.
And so I've said it all week, comparatively to the DC police that we typically cover protests, in Washington, DC. It seems like the Chicago PD, like I was saying at the top, just very proactive, getting ahead of it, and it's not giving people a space to protest and voice their free speech and everything. But at the same time, there's a line. And for you guys, where is that line?
Well, when it turns into criminal behavior, violent behavior. Last night, they even let them burn the flag, and without much to do, right? And but when they start trying to force their way through a police line and they start putting hands on cops, I know a few police officers were hit, last night, including a couple that got punched in the face. And when stuff like that happens, it's tough. And again, I think Superintendent Larry Snelling did a great job of calling those shots. In the past, I think we had some supervisions where more of that was actually tolerated prior to giving the order to make those kind of mass arrests. And even on Monday, it was a quick, hey, you know what? Here's your one warning, here's your second warning, and it was a little bit, back to back, and just like, hey, we're not going to play. Like, we'll give you that right. You want to march, you want to, say what you need to say. That's great. Everybody has that right. But like you said, there is limitations, and we set those guidelines. We told you what they were, and we're going to stick to them. And he stuck to them, and he did a great job. So.
Now, I don't know if you can say, but how do you feel about, because there is a portion of these protests that are very anti-American. Like, we were at a protest yesterday where they were talking about, we don't care about Republican or Democrat, we want to bring the whole system down. Do you have a feeling about that?
Do I want the whole system come down? No. But again, one thing that we've noticed, since 2020, we've had a lot of experience over the last four years with different, 2020 and the riots were mostly peaceful protests. It's not really
love.
Right. But you know what? Again, you have your fringe groups. Just look here today. There's at least 3 or 4 separate groups with their own, agendas. The pro-Palestinians, listen, if you're a Palestinian and you have your qualms with Israel and whatnot, by all means, come and air your grievances. Again, you have that right. The other ones that come in here that just want to create anarchy and chaos, those ones, those are the ones you got to watch out for, because they're going to try to get other people, especially when you get in that group mentality and that mob mentality, you can get other people that normally wouldn't be involved in that to be involved. So, but again, I think we've done a good job of picking those kind of agitators out of the crowd and getting them out prior to anything really bad happening. And so far, 3 nights down. I know it's still kind of early tonight, only 8:30, but so far it's been very amazing, and I'm proud of all of our officers. I mean, our officers are being, it's tough standing there getting yelled at and screamed at, nasty stuff when you have nothing to do with any of this. I don't know why they keep thinking that local law enforcement is part of the national government, but it is what it is. I just think that those kind of people that are all about that tear it all down. To what?
Yeah.
To what end? I mean, do you understand the safety that you have because of the way the system is? If you didn't have this system, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now. Police in countries that have torn that shit down. Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know if you can say that on this show, but but people that in countries like that, guess what? You're not doing that, and the police they're beating your ass, and you know what, and locking you up for years, if not longer, maybe even
Yeah, and
not around anymore.
No, and kind of what you said, going into tomorrow night, which is the final night, and we're going to see Kamala Harris speak at the convention and everything. Will it be sort of the same mentality going into tomorrow night? Because it should be. I know there's one plan that's supposed to start at 5 p.m. at Union Park right over here. And I don't know if that's going to try and head towards the United Center where Harris will be speaking, but is it going to be business as usual, or is there going to be an even heavier police presence?
Well, I mean, again, I think we will do what we've done the last 3 nights, and as we need more resources, we'll back up the front tiers. And again, it's one of those things where you want to give them the ability to do their march, to say their things, and keep moving. And again, we let them. I think we've done a fantastic job. Again, our men and women in this department and even our supervisors have done an awesome job. There's nothing to change. And you know what? If they do get out of pocket and it's time to bring in more people, we're ready. I mean, we have the numbers. And you know what? And I think we've shown that the last 2 times that they did try to start up a little bit. And again, I think for the most part, just having people walk by our lodge every day. I try to say hi to everybody. Some say hi back, some don't. But it's this is their time to air their grievances. They're doing it. Most of the people, I mean, you saw even tonight at the end. I mean, there was a couple thousand people here easily in Union Park in the beginning. And you know what? At the end, most of them just peacefully walked away and left, right? And they'll come back tomorrow and they'll do the same thing, hopefully. Hopefully, there's enough good people in that group that won't allow the agitators to get them sucked into the nonsense.
Yeah.
And
just to kind of wrap it up, as I've said, off camera and everything, I've covered dozens and dozens of protests, and I have to say, out of any protest that I've been to, the Chicago police seem to have their act together in terms of dealing with the protesters face to face, better than most. And so would you have any maybe advice or just your kind of summary for other police departments around the country as to this is how you do it?
Well, I mean, it starts with the leadership. And, we started preparing for this, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. And, and it's as begrudgingly as, police officers don't like training, at least that kind of training, you can tell that it paid off. And they're working as teams, they're doing doing it the right way. It's preparation, and some of those, it depends on the leadership of the city. We, thank God, right now have a good superintendent, a strong superintendent who is willing to get involved. I mean, he was on the news last night. You could see that he was actually helping officers effect an arrest, along with some of the other supervisors that were on scene. That, in and of itself, gets the officers, our what we call our blue shirts, to be more proactive, and watch out for one another. And again, from top down, it's been a professional organization during this entire thing, and I don't expect anything different tomorrow.
Well, first Vice President of the Fraternal Order of Police, Michael Mette, I just want to thank you very much for joining us on MRC
thank you for
TV.
having me.
Folks, stay tuned for more from the DNC in Chicago. For MRC TV, I'm Nick Kingadas.